Hey guys, welcome back to Pretty Extra. I'm your host, Amanda Saez, and today, well, I'm live. Barely. So here's the tea. The last time you guys heard from me, I was about to go into New York Fashion Week, and you guys know I absolutely live for these fashion weeks. They are everything to me. And I know that you guys absolutely love, the glam and the fun for like all my fashion weeks and stuff, but trust me when I tell you, it was just a disaster. Things were not so pretty this time around. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun. I saw all of my friends. I had a bunch of photo shoots, a bunch of like really cool events to go to, parties, etc. But I had a big issue, which is why you guys have not heard from me for the last few weeks. And I sincerely apologize because there is nothing worse than not being able to do my podcast during Fashion Week, especially a Pretty Extra episode. You guys would not believe how heartbroken I was. I lost my voice. I have never lost my voice in my entire life. At least I don't remember. I don't think that I ever have. And if I have, it definitely was not this bad and for not this long. I had the worst sore throat and I just could not talk at all for a few days. And then eventually I got sick. But during Fashion Week, I just could not talk. I was not sick yet. I was just like... It was like disgusting. Luckily, you do not need your voice to walk the runway. So that was great. But you want to talk, you see people, you're networking. And I couldn't do all that. It was honestly kind of embarrassing. I literally planned my entire New York Fashion Week around my podcast. I lugged all of my lighting, all of my equipment into New York City. I stayed in a hotel with my friends. I had all of these interviews lined up and boom, I lost my voice. You know how devastating that was to me? I didn't even attend any auditions for New York Fashion Week because I had everything planned out for my podcast. I was like, oh my God, I've walked so many runway shows. It's not going to be a big deal if I don't do it this time. But I just launched a podcast. I need to cover New York Fashion Week. This is going to be the time to do it. And then bam, it was the second day of New York Fashion Week for me. I completely lost my voice. It was so out of the blue. And it was so weird because I was at a model party and it was right after when I lost my voice. And I was at a diner with my dad at midnight. And he noticed it before I did. He goes, your voice is gone. And I was like, oh, you're right. It was so weird. He goes, were you yelling or anything? And I was like, no, I'm not the most enthusiastic, woo, party kind of person. I'm not the type of person to be screaming. So for me to lose my voice, I'm probably sick, but I didn't feel sick. So it was just so odd, but I figured that it would probably go away by the next morning. So I was just trying not to talk. And by the next morning, it was worse. So I just tried not to talk the entire day. And then the day after that, I had scheduled podcast interviews for a few people. And I brought everything to New York. I was on vocal rest and I could not do it. I was so upset. So that was my New York Fashion Week. But there are some brighter sides to it. I did a bunch of photo shoots, which I also did not really need my voice for. And when I did some of my photo shoots, I still had my voice, which was good.
Ooh, she's that girl.
I'm also an Angel Energy girl for Chrissy King, which is absolutely iconic. And I got my uniform, which is so beautiful. Everything is all sparkly and so me, so extra. That's honestly why I feel like I relate to this brand so much, because everything is so beautiful and over the top and just I don't even know. It's just so feminine and beautiful and I just love it. So when I got my uniform, I was like, yes, thank you. Here are the leggings. And yeah, so we did our Angel Energy photo shoot on a rooftop in New York City. And that was so cool. I have never done that before. I've been on rooftops in New York City. I'm pretty sure only at night until this photo shoot, because during the day, during sunset, it is a completely different vibe. It was gorgeous. We got gorgeous shots. And then a few days later, I didn't even know this until she posted on Instagram. Chrissy King posted how we are going to be in a publication. I do not know which publication that's going to be. Somehow every time that I end up in a publication, I never know until after like the photo shoot, except for when I ended up in Harper's Bazaar. That was a funny story, but I could get to that later. But yeah, I'm really excited. I am wondering what publication I'm going to be in, and it is going to be the most amazing photos in this bling on a rooftop. So I am at least happy about that. I feel like something was fulfilled with my New York Fashion Week stuff because I couldn't really do much thanks to my voice being gone, because I basically skipped out on all the auditions and stuff for my podcast, and then I couldn't do my podcast because I got sick. So I had a good photo shoot and it's going in a publication. So, ooh. Also, I was at one of the Chrissy King auditions for New York Fashion Week since I'm her Angel Energy girl. And I was just there taking content and helping everyone like hang out and be all collectively together in line and stuff. And kind of like everyone's like hype girl and stuff. It was like really fun. So I had never been on the opposite end. I've always been like the model, like waiting in line. I've never been one of the people. I mean, I wasn't casting anyone. I wasn't in charge of that. Like I wasn't picking girls, but I was like one of the people that was not actually being casted. I was actually doing something really cool. I was interviewing models. So I would ask them things like, what have you done to prepare for New York Fashion Week? What's your favorite thing about modeling? All these different things, like what is harder on you, like for modeling, whether it's like mental or physically, all these different questions that I had for them. And honestly, I can dig it. Like that was a vibe for me. I never thought of being an interviewer for fashion events. I don't know if I would ever want to for like just any regular event, but for like fashion weeks, that is totally my vibe. I vibed with it. So yeah, that was definitely for me. And I would 110% do that again. So the majority of my week was doing Chrissy King events and photo shoots, more photo shoots for other things, as well as model events and model parties. And then I did one show because that one was just like a directly booked show. And the most iconic thing ever is that Chi Chi was also booked for the show. Like, iconic. And it was Chi Chi's first runway show. So it was very special. And what made it more special is that the designer, she's actually one of my close friends. Her name is Caroline Miller. And she has a brand called Bovine Blues. She had designed an outfit specifically for Chi Chi. It was so cute. And I like to say that Chi Chi opened the show because this was all about Chi Chi. I've done so many like fashion shows before, but this was not about me. This was about Chi Chi. Like this was Chi Chi's moment. And she did a beautiful job. Chi Chi opened the show. On her first show, I can't even. I was so proud. I was a proud mom. I was so like frantic backstage at certain points because one, I got my hair and my makeup done and we were the first to walk out, and I didn't realize that it was 7:00 already, and 7:00 was when it was supposed to start, and Chi Chi didn't have her outfit on yet. And Chi Chi was like not having it. She like did not want me to put on her outfit. I was like trying to rush it on her. She was like trying to bite me. She was like, ah. And so I was like, no, I need to put this on you. Come on. And then I walk out with her. And when I walk out with her, she's just like, and then she sticks out her tongue. She's like, it's like the cutest thing ever. That's essentially what had happened. That was the little bit of drama. And I felt so bad because I wanted to hang out with my friends after so badly, but I couldn't talk. And so my friends are all just like talking. I'm just standing there like this. It was like so awkward and uncomfortable for me. Imagine like your friends are all like, oh my God, like this is that. And then you're just standing there and you're like, like it's just so boring for me. I mean, it wasn't boring, but it's just like I want to talk and interact and then I can't. And then when I try to, my throat hurts and then I feel like I have to cough because it just feels like sandpaper's in my throat. So that was depressing and I decided to go home. But it's fine. I mean, I still had a fun time. And Chi-Chi had her moment. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking. You're probably like, Amanda, why were you in a fashion show when you're sick? I am committed. Like, I am seriously committed. I could be sick. I would have to be literally dying to not do my work. I'm not even kidding. So actually, I think it was during Art Basel last year. I was booked for a few shows. And a week before, I was at an OTH event, like a party. And I had slammed my foot into a really hard steel stair. And my entire toenail came off. When I tell you that the toenail came off, it was like raw, bloody, nasty, disgusting. It was probably one of the most painful things that I've ever experienced. It's happened to me before, like that my nail has come off, but not like that. It was so bad. I couldn't even like have my blanket on my foot when I was sleeping because it would just hurt so bad. I couldn't walk for days because I couldn't put on any shoes. And I also couldn't put any pressure on the toe. It was honestly just so weird how like your toenail being ripped off so badly could like impact your entire foot. I thought that there was going to be permanent damage to my toe. I was really worried about that, but luckily like everything turned out fine. So, fast forward, I completely messed up my toe and I was freaking out because I was booked for some shows for Art Basel. And I was like, I am not missing Art Basel. I am booked for these shows. I am not going to cancel. And when I tell you I couldn't walk, I could not walk. And I got like a little cast for my foot. I was walking on my heel all around like wherever I had to go if I had to walk. If I didn't have to walk, I would just sit on the couch all day. And when it came time for Art Basel, I showed up. I sat the entire time backstage. And then when it came time for me to do my 30-second walk down the runway, I got up in heels and in boots because I had different looks. I got up and I walked down and I walked back. And then once, my job was over, I put on my soft, comfortable shoes that I could walk in more comfortably, and I went home. If I don't show up for my work with like modeling or influencing, whatever it is that I have to do, there's something really wrong. I do take it very seriously. Like with my throat, you don't need your throat to walk the runway. But with my podcast, I need my throat. And I have not appreciated my voice more than ever until now. When I realized like, oh, wow, your voice is actually very important. It just blows my mind how hard it was for me. I mean, I guess because I did not have my voice for so long that it was really tough. Also, I was so excited about the new launch of my podcast. I swear, I feel like I'm just messing when I say this, but I was like, I literally just launched this thing like not even a month ago. This was like when I got when my throat was all messed up. And then, bam, my voice is gone. I was like, who put some black magic on me to lose my voice? Someone is pissed that I did my podcast. And they're like, Amanda is not going to have her voice anymore. So she cannot do her podcast. Because all my life, I have never lost my voice. I swear, I'm pretty sure I've never lost my voice. And I'm like, Now I lose my voice? Are you kidding me? I was like shocked. And then during like the most important time, no less. Like it couldn't just be like a random like week of the year. It had to be during New York Fashion Week. I was pissed. I was really upset. So yeah, that is essentially why I'm extremely grateful for my voice now. And I'm still not completely better. I mean, I feel a lot better. I mean, just having my voice back, I feel better. But like I ended up very sick after, and I locked myself in my bedroom for like 2 weeks trying to feel better. I was taking like Sudafed and Mucinex, all this kind of stuff. eating like straight up honey, gargling with like salt water, all this stuff. It just would not go away. And then suddenly, like over the last 2 days, I'm starting to finally feel a little bit better. But I don't want to get too excited because that happened to me a week and a half ago. And then I got sick again. I had like a fever and everything. So please, like, keep me good. Everyone's like, oh, brat summer. Like, this has been like sick girl summer for me. I mean, now we're like going into fall, but like this whole year I have just been so sick. I am excited for 2025 because I do not want to be sick anymore. I'm like, please just let me be well, let me be healthy, and let me be thriving, because I want to be pretty extra. I don't want to be pretty sick, you know? Like, I don't want to be sick. I want to be good. You know, I came to New Jersey to spend time with my family, to spend time with my friends, to go to New York Fashion Week. And literally 2 weeks of that, I ended up sick in my bed. I was actually going to leave like right after Fashion Week, but because I was sick, I was like, I might as well just stay here and rest. I didn't want to travel all sick and everything, you know? So I stayed here, and now that I'm getting better, I'm just gonna stay a few more days because now I want to like see my friends again before I leave, and then I'm gonna go. At this point, I'm going on like a month to a month and a half of being in New Jersey. And I feel so bad because like so many people were like messaging me over the last 2 weeks. They're like, oh my God, you're still here. Let's hang out. And I'm like, I am very sick. I can't. I even had like a double eye infection. It was like wild. I can't even. Like, please let 2025 be pure health. I eat like mostly organic foods. At least when I'm in Florida, I do. It's a little bit harder for me being in New Jersey because like where I'm at, there's not too many like organic food stores. I work out occasionally. Occasionally, like, but I live a pretty healthy lifestyle. Why am I getting sick? I don't know. Even though I felt like absolute death, like the show has to go on. It just does. I don't care if I feel terrible. Like I would have to be like on my way to the hospital to not show up to New York Fashion Week. My parents, my boyfriend, literally everyone was like, Amanda, why are you going? Like, you need to rest. And I'm like, no, I will rest after Fashion Week. I am thriving, or at least trying to, and I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm only young once. I might think that I'm young when I'm like 60. I might act like it, but I'm actually young and able to do this now. And I'm not going to let my sore throat stop me. And I still plan on doing more New York Fashion Week podcasts and recaps. However, the people that I want to interview are now in Florida, and I am not in Florida right now. So that's going to have to wait like another 2 weeks. I'm sad about that. But, you know, it is what it is, and you guys will be able to see it soon. And I'm sorry that it's delayed. I realize now that I probably should be pre-recording things a lot earlier, just in case of an emergency like that. But, you know, these are things that you learn through life. Things happen so that you learn lessons. And luckily, I learned it early in my podcasting career. So that's good. I wish it didn't happen during Fashion Week, but it is what it is. I'm just really grateful that I'm able to attend New York Fashion Week. When I was in college, I would have done anything to be able to go to New York Fashion Week. It wasn't until my senior year of college that I actually got invited to New York Fashion Week as a reporter student. I was in a fashion journalism class at Rutgers. My professor was like, oh, is anyone interested in going to New York Fashion Week and covering it? And I was like, obviously me. Like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah. And so I went, and I actually ended up seeing one of my favorite designers back then because I was into pageants, and I saw MacDougall. And I met Carly Bybel, which is another one of my favorite influencers. She is from New Jersey. And when I saw her, I was like starstruck. I was like, oh my God, like Carly, hey. And yeah, that was my very first time attending New York Fashion Week. My professor was a part of some news team that was able to get me in as media. I just felt like so incredibly special to go. And I was like, oh my God, like the models and this and that, like I would do anything to be here. I didn't think that I would ever in a million years walk in New York Fashion Week. So I don't take it for granted now. If I'm sick, like I just need to deal with it. Like that, it's just what it is. I don't have a broken leg. And even if I did have a broken leg, I would probably be like, listen, it's 30 seconds on the runway. I am going to like drag myself and pose. Like it's not that hard. You know, it's just like what it is. It's not like doing a photo shoot for 8 hours where you have to like stand there. And I mean, sometimes you get to sit. It just depends. But I don't know. I'm committed. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And until then, stay extra. Bye.